We wanted to make this open world, and we wanted to have tribes in here that you could discover, you could visit their settlements and talk to them. We felt we needed more systems than we ever had in Killzone to tell this story. We wanted to have this, basically a dialogue wheel, to be able to explore much more lore and much more background information about these characters and about the world and all its mysteries. But we also wanted to have quests, a quest structure in there, so you can go on main quests, you can go tribe quests, you can do certain types of activities. We've been looking at this from a concept development point of view of what works nice for the game, what works nice for the concept, and then added these features. We haven't said from the start, this is going to be an RPG, so we're going to put in these features. It's never happened like that. We've always decided it more from the conceptual point of view of what works best for the game or what really adds to the experience. So for example, we also have the combat numbers. When you shoot a machine, you'll see these floating tags. Some people would classify that as an RPG element. But we basically just need it because we need to provide the player with this tactical information of how much damage are you actually doing. If you're shooting at armor, that does a lot less damage, so we have a lower number with a different color. If you shoot at weaker parts, you have a big number with different colors. It's this kind of feedback system that we just need for the game. So it's not trying to tick a box for the RPG, but it's more an organic process, I think, in that sense. But the one thing that we did state at some point in development was that we were making an action RPG. So I think what we have now as an end result is really a mix between the both. I think what we wanted to avoid is complicated menus. We also didn't want to go too deep with the RPG features that we were developing. We wanted to have a certain level of accessibility and understandability for players, but also the controls and everything needs to be very fast. Aloy is an agile character and we wanted to sort of mirror that in the controls, so it needs to be fast. So for example, we have quick crafting that you can do while you're just sprinting from machines or whatever other danger. You just on the fly you can craft. So there's no need to pause the game, go into this whole crafting flow, etc. that some RPGs might have, and break the immersion. In that case, it's more based on what fits here well for the game. Also, we didn't want to go too hardcore with stats, so at some point we just cut it off and said, okay, till here and not any further, because then it's going to confuse players, it's going to be too many things at some point, it's going to overwhelm players, perhaps as well. We basically try to filter and keep the best bits. In terms of exploration, there's so much to find in the world. The open world really supports that. There's a lot of sort of relics and stuff from the old world to be found. There's a lot of mysteries to uncover. So if you're into story, there's a lot of story in this game. It's one of the focus points actually. But if you're into combat, I think we have quite an interesting tactical combat system there with the machines that feels different from what people have played before. Yeah, so I think it can appeal to a very wide range of people actually.
I think a lot of people from the first E3 demo that you saw last year, and maybe it's just Japanese crowd in particular, but I've heard a lot of people be like, oh, this is like a Western Monster Hunter. I'm curious, what do you think of that comparison? Do you think there's any crossover there?
I think that's interesting because that's sometimes how we name it here as well, just as a reference. But I think people are naming it a lot of different things because they see some similarities with movies. Avatar sometimes is referenced, or sometimes Jurassic Park. I find it really difficult to make any comparison, to be honest, because we've been really focusing on developing this game. It's Horizon, it's its own thing. I can't really compare it to anything. I can't say it's better than this because of that. It's Horizon.